Today's meme of the day is...
I am Dr. Eggman, your new genius overlord. Get a load of this!
Three, two, one. Oh, Delaney, stop biting her ear. Of course, the moment I start recording, you're going to act like a dick. Yeah, get ready to hear a lot of dogs shouting, maybe. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest episode of Lads Discuss Death Battle. Joined of us decaying his way through the competition is your only mate.
Hey, we're going to talk about some guys throwing hands.
Indeed. And domain expanding his opinion is Shawnee.
Well, it's time we expand the knowledge about decaying aspects in general.
Indeed. And so we're here to talk about Shigaraki versus Mahito, but first we got some comments regarding the last few topics. First comment from Yang the Insane. This was to do with the little opening meme of the day we did in the first episode. Well, first episode since we brought them back. Honestly, you guys won the Lads vs Bros with just the opening clip. No disrespect to the bros. Also, fun fact, Spawn considers Batman one of his few friends. Yeah, it's actually true that Batman's actually one of the few friends. And this is actually canonical that Spawn and Batman are actually friends. Because whenever they do another crossover together, they are friends. And also, apparently, according to Todd McFarlane, Batman's one of the few that can beat Spawn. I'm just like, again, I know we already kind of made fun of Todd McFarlane last discussion, but how can this guy say confidently Spawn beats Ghost Rider easily, but somehow agrees Batman beats him?
Okay, if we're talking in a just no powers fist fight, sure. But everything else, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, like...
Maybe Todd was asked if Batman was given prep time, could he beat Spawn? Yes, Batman beats anyone with prep time.
No, you know what? That's when you have Robin go, holy word of God, Batman!
But, yeah, it's actually kind of cool. In fact, there's a Mortal Kombat 11 quote where if Raiden speaks to Spawn, he says, like, you remind me of you remind me of another Dark Knight. Spawn will go, you mean the billionaire playboy? He's a friend. So, it is kind of cool that, Batman and Spawn are canonically friends. Because most of the time with crossovers, characters become friends, then they do another crossover many years later and they never acknowledge each other again. Yeah. The sad reality of corporations and crossovers. This next comment from Starshock. Point one, this is regarding the next time. Point one, don't feel bad, mate, even though there's some stuff taken out of the books. A lot of it is just JK showing her ass on certain subjects. I'm assuming that has something to do with the Harry Potter thing. I'm assuming that's like a JK Rowling thing. So I don't know what JK, unless it's talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm not entirely sure about that. I didn't actually look in the link he put there. Point two, Bill's lowballing's gonna bite him in the arse like Vegeta Tetsuo gut. You know what, Starshock? I'm not even usually that sort of person with conflict, especially someone who's been supporting me for 5 years. By the way, thanks for the 5-year support. But you know, I was looking forward to when we record this because I need to call you out and think. You don't know what lowballing is. I'm not lowballing. Just because I say one character I believe will beat the other one, that's not lowballing. That's me looking into what I think is the most powerful character in the scenario. And I was just more convinced by Mahito. Like, yeah, the argument.
I think if anything, you might have underestimated Shigaraki just a little bit.
Yeah, that's not lowballing though. I'm sick of people using lowballing and versus wrong. It's like people using wanking wrong. People, that's, you know.
Oh God, I hate that term in versus.
Yeah, lowballing just means.
I don't get it.
Like, let me explain what lowballing is. You know, because I did a bit of business studies. Lowballing is when someone's trying to manipulate the situation and to trying to convince people that this thing is more valuable or more, you know, like there's more debate with it. I had to
basically
describe.
like, also like this feat isn't that strong.
Yeah, basically, I'm trying to manipulate you in that, oh, this feat isn't that strong, this isn't true, da da da. I'm basically lying. Like, I'm basically lying. I'm basically trying to say, no, this isn't true, and then I try and, like, manipulate the situation in a way. I wasn't doing that with Shigaraki versus Mahito. I was convinced a lot of what Mahito could do could kill Shigaraki. You know.
Yeah, it could give him alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
But, yeah.
Shigaraki's 21. He's fine.
But yeah, Starshot, you know, you always enjoy making fun of me, so I just felt good having an opportunity to make fun of you. Read a dictionary. Also, thank you for your support.
Also, Sean, to explain the wank thing.
He knows it, mate. We've talked about it in the past.
Oh, right, yeah.
Anyway,
We talk about a lot of stuff, okay?
It is true. We've done over hundreds of videos, so some things are going to get lost. Anyway, his last few comments before we move on to the other two comments. MORØ's on animation. I'm hyped. Sounds like we're getting a part 3 based on the abrupt cut, and you did. P.S. I went with Spawn on last one, so jokes aside, no hard feelings regardless. I just like picking on you. Yeah, and I enjoyed picking on you, so we're even, Starshock.
Yippee!
More people should read dictionaries. Anyway, this was regarding our third topic regarding franchises we got into from Chaotic Spaz, who, when I was reading that out loud, I feel as though I've read that name before. There, I've probably read a lot of names before. It's thanks to Death Battle I got into some of my favourite series like Red vs. Blue, Ruby, My Little Pony, and a certain scientific railgun, which all their first episodes what got me into them and why they still remain some of my favourite fights of the series. Honestly, yeah, I was really annoyed when I looked up the scientific railgun. I watched the show, people say don't bother watching that, it's boring, and I should have watched the other one. I was like, well, that's good to know. Wasted my whole time.
I wish I knew that 48 hours later, earlier.
Yeah. Though it did.
Yeah.
It did spawn that funny meme that we had about this hand ruins everything it touches. I was like, okay, you're out of context. That's just funny.
Ruins everything.
I still have that image saved on my computer as well. But yeah, and then from Fireball RKO on the same similar subject, a franchise got into because of Death Battle is Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm so you know, the one with Hiei. I'm never good at pronouncing that.
Yes.
After Sasuke vs Hiei, I don't know why I started liking edgelords like Hiei at this point, but I did. I watched the anime after it was immediately hooked, and another series I immediately got into was he did a misspelling here, but he put Fart Tail after Zoro vs Ezra. Happened. Well, sold on the series as well. Another series was Metal Gear because I originally knew it from Smash due to Snake, but when Raiden came on and Rules of Nature played, I was sold. I think that was kind of like me with Raiden as well, because I never knew about Metal Gear Rising. I knew of Raiden through Metal Gear Solid 2, where he was the main character of that. And then it turned out there was this whole game about him, and it didn't do well, which I was surprised by given all the memes we see about it.
Thank you, Torian. He was the one who was like, what if we make Raiden fight Wolverine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his idea, and he was saying, like, yeah, I think he could win, like, just on a whim.
Yeah,
and
I think,
look what happened.
Yeah, I think it's also still one of those few Death Battles I actually still say, like, yeah, I think Raiden would win it. But yeah, so thanks for the comments, and honestly, the third topic we had for that one had a lot of, like, positive comments, like it was good
On
seeing...
YouTube?
I know, right? It was actually... Yeah, it was just nice to have, like, you know, a third topic that wasn't controversial or stuff like that. It was just, hey, you know, we got into franchises. What do you guys get into? And many people have those. Although, speaking of franchises some of us have gotten into, and that's only just for me because of Jujutsu Kaisen, let's talk about Shigaraki versus Mahito. And, yeah, this is a good episode. I don't think...
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode way more than I thought I would.
Yeah, like...
That's what I've heard from a lot of folks.
Now, okay, when this episode was first announced during, like, the fundraiser and stuff like that, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, we're getting Mahito from Jujutsu Kaisen Shigaraki, okay. It's because I don't really find them being entertaining villains compared to, like, other anime villains. And I wasn't that much alone in that. I mean, from what I heard, this is kind of like Homelander versus Omni-Man 2, where most people don't really care about these two, but they're at least rooting against Mahito, which, yeah, to be fair, he definitely deserves all the shit he does. But we were getting more and more towards it, and after it was announced, I was still kind of in that. Even though I'm into Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia, I could really not care less on which one of these characters wins, because they're like My Hero Academia. Jujutsu Kaisen has loads of really great characters, like. But when it comes to the major big villain, I mean, Mahiro's not the big villain. Like, he's kind of like one of many villains, but he's just not that entertaining to me. Even though I feel as though he is a character I should like. I will admit that there is one scene that I do find hilarious, and I love the dubbed version of it. Is when the main character is like shouting at him after he massacres people, and he just screams, "I can hear you! You don't need to shout!" Which, funny enough, they changed the thumbnail to have him with that expression, because I think that's one of the few Mahito moments I was like, that's funny.
They changed the thumbnail of this episode a lot.
They really did. And to be honest, they're all good. I just don't know why they kept sporadically changing it. I know YouTube's algorithm.
The most clicked?
Yeah, I know YouTube's algorithm recommends your videos more the more often you change thumbnails. One, I'm not that dedicated to my videos to wake up in the morning like, alright, I better change that thumbnail for the latest lads just so I get more clicks. It's like, nah, I'll just stick to one thumbnail, and if it gets the clicks, it gets the clicks. Now, this might be a hot take from me. Now, we'll wait until we talk about the fight itself. I thought the analysis was passable. I did not. I didn't laugh at it as much as the previous ones. I didn't see a lot of like. There weren't moments I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like Ghost Rider versus Spawn, Kratos versus Azura. It was just one of those like, but it wasn't boring. It was like, okay, you know, they have some humor in there. Like, not every death battle analysis is gonna be, you know, amazing. I did kind of say that in the past. Like, you know, they've been really good consistently. They might hit a little slump though at some point. I think this episode's the slump for me, where it wasn't bad, and the editing's good. I'm not doubting that. I just don't have that many memories upon rewatching it so many times about, oh, what was my favourite boomstick and whiz crack? I was like, I don't actually remember any.
Oh, I definitely think this one definitely has the editing visuals be like the biggest selling point for it.
Oh, for sure.
But I do agree with, though, at least with Mahito's analysis. Like, it was passable, but nothing like stood out about it. Whereas I kind of disagree with Shigaraki, mostly for how they ended his analysis. Like, I thought the way they ended it, like, the script writing for it was really well done.
Yeah. Like, I know Mahito doesn't have as much screen time as previous characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. But it did kind of just feel abrupt a lot of the time. And, again, there just wasn't that many memorable quotes or jokes from it. Like, editing's good, but, you know, you can make, you know, a stale piece of bread that's shiny, but it's still a stale piece of bread to me.
Also, they pretty much, like, put a lot of my thoughts about Shigaraki, like, into the episode. Like, the whole, god, that costume was stupid. Like, I know hands are his thing, but I just can't take it seriously. Like, thank you, Boomstick.
Just overall, I just thought it was like a fine analysis. I think, funny enough, though, this is my exact problem I had with Gojo versus Makumo, because, you know, when hearing about this matchup, I started watching Chainsaw Man when I was representing Makima, and I was like, oh my god, this series is really cool. I'm looking forward to learning about Jojo. And I learned a lot about Jojo, and it was pretty cool from the prediction. If it wasn't for that, though, and I just watched the analysis, I can't say I probably wouldn't have been as into Jujutsu Kaisen as I would be now, because it didn't sell me on it. And in a way, though, that would be a similar case with it, because this analysis didn't really make me see these characters as... I mean, they're badass in their own right, but nothing really grips me on about the characters. And I know the reason they can't show a lot of voice clips and scenes is because of copyright, especially for anime. Japan's a bitch when it comes to copyright over there. Hell, they copyrighted...
Oh, yeah.
They copyrighted a child's fan-made Mario game. It was poorly made, and they copyrighted it. It was going to sue a child. Like, with how strict Japan is with their, like, IPs, it's not surprising they can't show a lot of, like, dialogue. But...
You know what's kind of crazy, though, like, talking about this, is that one of the things I saw on, like, social media, like Twitter and BlueSky, was, like, a lot of people were saying that Death Battle handled Shigaraki's analysis better than My Hero fans actually knew the character.
Yeah, I think
That's kind of funny to me.
I think My Hero Academia's fan base is starting to become those fan bases where they're very inconsistent with what they dislike, what they like about that show. Like, I remember people saying, "Oh, Deku is like privileged because he got given his powers and stuff like that." And I'm just like, you are aware the main plot of My Hero Academia is that this kid, you know, isn't privileged. He's one of the many people that doesn't have quirks and powers. He had to work to get that. And now suddenly,
In
he's
a way,
so powerful. Like now it's like, oh, now he's a Gary Stu. It's just like, what? It's like, what is he? Like the fact
actually,
that doesn't make sense.
you can draw comparisons between Deku and Captain America. Like because, like, yeah, if you attribute, say, like the Super Soldier Serum to One for All, like the whole reason Steve was given it wasn't because he was like a perfect soldier or anything, but because at his heart he was a good man, just like Deku was.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing Deku with a Captain America-like shield, but instead of the American star, it's All Might's face.
Oh, there's an edit for people. Yeah, I think the analysis portion is weak on a story base. Like, making fun of both these characters, like how Mahito's actually a complete little coward and just ran away, which is something I actually forgot to bring up in the last episode because I was more focused on trying to get all their powers said. I didn't really say, oh yeah, by the way, Mahito's actually a little petty bitch and he'll run away the moment the battle's not going his way.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons I even don't like Mahito, which I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should go into more details about that. Like, yeah, he's one of those villains that's not committed to his whole thing. Like, the moment he's overpowered, he just runs away, which I'm like, villains need to stand their ground, But, it's whatever. But yeah, just the analysis on its own, it's informative, but I wasn't easily as entertained by it because I know because of a lot of restrictions Death Battle has with anime. But I feel as if I wasn't into My Hero Academia or Jujutsu Kaisen already, I probably wouldn't bother watching them just based on this Death Battle alone. That's just me though.
I think the best way I can sum it up what you would probably think is that it had nice presentation with its editing, but when you consumed it, it was kind of bland despite its pretty look.
Yeah.
I also just want to throw this out there about something because, in our discussion, I think I briefly brought up the whole soul thing with quirks, but I just didn't really go into it that much and whatnot.
Look,
probably should have thought about that more in hindsight.
To be fair, Shigaraki has a lot of powers from One for All, so there was a lot.
To be fair, I knew what you were.
Oh yeah.
I knew what you were talking about. To be fair, it was just one of those things where it was like, that's not really spiritual. But I will go into some things. There is some. It's minor controversy. It's just some things I have seen from people. And I do kind of want to address it because I feel as though it goes into comparing stats of or abilities from different series. Also, weird fact as well, which I was quite surprised about. I might have missed this. I did not know Mahito was into Tolkien.
Oh.
And I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I never realised that. That doesn't make me interested in the character. Just because you like what I like.
Learn.
Yeah, it's one of those things do you like Mahito now, Bill? He likes what you like. It's like, if Hitler likes Pokemon like I did, that doesn't mean I like Hitler.
Well, that's a weird comparison to compare Mahito to, but sure.
I mean, they're both equally pieces of shit. And let's be real here. If it was a fight between Mahito and Hitler, I think we know who people are rooting for in that case.
No one?
A meteor hitting the planet and killing them both.
Would the meteor even kill Mahito? Too much detail.
They could try.
They could try. Yeah, I do like the fact they also brought up that what Mahito's name meant because, true person, which, I had to give credit to Jujutsu Kaisen. A lot of the naming's quite clever when you look at a lot of the curses and stuff like that. Mahito means true person. He's created from the hatred of humanity and stuff like that, and the untrustworthiness. So it's he is his true person to an extent, until he's a coward. I guess that is kind of true to his personality, though. But yeah, I think my final say on the analysis before we get to the fight, 'cause I think that's where a lot of our highlights are going to be for this episode. Just overall, the analysis was passable. I learned about the characters. If I wasn't a fan of them already, I'd probably skip it, but visual-wise, it's great. Like, the editing is still top tier.
I know, I can definitely understand that. While I kind of like Shigaraki's analysis, I can definitely understand it, especially with Mahito's analysis.
And again, it's another Jujutsu Kaisen fight, and it's like, god damn it, that's 2 in a row now, Death Hour. You need to make your Jujutsu fights sound more like characters sound more epic.
Give us Panda, goddammit!
Exactly, let's get Panda in there. Like, you don't even need an analysis or his feats, just literally put a picture of his fight on screen. Damn, there, best analysis ever.
Nah.
But do you guys have any final says before we move on to the fight?
Not really.
I gave my final say, so I was waiting to see if they said anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, despite our gripes with the analysis though, is the fight boring? No, the fight is really good.
You gotta admit, it's nice to see MORØ getting his own family to help with this fight. He said this on a social media post that the beginning shot we see was done by his sister.
Oh,
really?
That's I want to say that's kind of sweet, but given what I'm about to show people on screen right now, let's
I posted this on Bro.
So while you guys were talking, I was
here it is.
I was pausing a bunch in the beginning of the animation to try and see if I could spot any Easter eggs in the background or something. And that woman that we see, I paused at the moment it happens.
Oof. And I'm going to put that on screen just so everyone can suffer it. I don't feel as though if I put that on screen, actually, I don't think this video is getting monetized, but I can handle one video not being monetized. At most, I only earn like 70 pence from all my videos, so what am I losing?
Well, we lost Sean apparently. Oh, never mind, he's back.
Oh no, without monetization, Sean realised, wait, we're only getting paid 70 pence? I'm out. Sean, are you with us? Mic issues. Well, tell Mike to go away.
You know, some of them I'm a little surprised. When Shigaraki's just checking his phone, I'm surprised the skull logo isn't just a Death Battle skull.
Do you know what? I actually thought it was on first glance. I was like, oh, I guess he's a Death Battle member.
Here we go.
Alright, Sean is back. Back again.
I wonder what
what
Shigaraki's favorite episode is.
I was trying to read out what MORØ said on Twitter specifically about this. A shout out to his sister, Iku Aldnia. She drew the big characters in the beginning. He explicitly asked her to make her art look as garbage as possible so that his drawings won't look shit in comparison, because this was the second fully animation ever.
Good old sibling pettiness.
Wow.
Well, do you know, I have to say, her drawings are pretty good. Like, I've been delving into some like drawings as well in the past, and I think, comparing my Among Us thumbnails to her drawings of people, yeah, she is definitely the better one.
Maybe I can pull one up for you to put in the video, actually. Keep going with your point.
Also, it's better than anything I can do that, well, without, I basically rely on the tracing and stuff.
Have you seen my Gartic Phone videos?
But yeah, so now, is this MORØ animation as good as Bowser vs. Eggman? No, but Eggman and Bowser had a lot of hype around it. It's two iconic villains, it had all their armies.
Plus, it just had so much more going on.
Yeah. But for an episode that many people just kind of like, this is going to probably be a filler episode, when you kind of look at the views of this video as we're recording it now, it's on 2 million. It's definitely not seen as a filler episode anymore.
Oh my god, it's like Shredder versus Silver Samurai.
Exactly. You know what? That's a good comparison. That's because people were dogging on that episode. It was kind of like, oh great, we got this after TJ Combo versus Balrog.
And then they get to the fight, and they're just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, like, first of all, having those people just die in the open, it was like, was it unnecessary? Yes. Is it fit into both My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen? Yes, also. And I don't know why, I don't know what it's with, like, me when I see pedestrians die in, like, other medias. I always feel more sorry for background characters dying than I do for, like, if main characters or villains die, because it's kind of one of those, like...
What's funny is that the Death Battle fandom gave some of those background characters names and lore.
Oh, God.
I heard about that, I just never looked into it.
As I was looking for art, she talked about how insane it was to her that they gave her the characters lore and whatnot.
Didn't they kind of do the same with, like, the characters, like the civilians that got killed in Reverse Flash versus Goku Black?
I heard those were just OCs.
I guess
two of them were. One was John Mitchell's OC, and the other one was just him.
Ah.
Yeah. But anyway, so the actual fight itself. First of all, as well, I generally believed they got Mahito's voice actor, like his English dub voice actor, for this fight, because, like, I'll put a clip.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
I looked it up. No, he has never voiced Mahito. Mate, you and I were talking about Persona earlier. This is Mishima.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was like like, I'll put, like, the English dub voice actor on screen. I have to alter the footage just so Japan doesn't hit me with the freaking copyright hammer. Just Mario comes around the corner with a hammer, just it's like, don't ban me, Mario. But yeah, like here's Mahito from the anime.
Oh my. Am I really that famous? I like you. You seem worthy of killing.
And then here's, you know, the death battle one. It's
little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
It's like, it's crazy just how good they sound. Death Battle have done a really good job getting voice actors who sound identical to their original counterparts.
Dude, shout out to Sean Chiplock.
Yeah.
That's his name. That was the name of the Mahito voice actor, Bill.
Yeah, I know. And also, Shigaraki's voice actor as well. Wasn't this the same voice actor who voiced SpongeBob as well? Or was I mixing up
yes,
actors?
this is this is SpongeBob. This is Tom Schultz.
Yeah, I thought
he was also Omni-Man, Megatron.
I think Bill pointed out SpongeBob specifically because you don't expect the guy who can voice SpongeBob to sound like Shigaraki.
Yeah, well, even if he voiced Omni-Man, like, you know those videos you see where it's like the same voice actors, and then you see the, like, just seeing the SpongeBob voice, and then you see Omni-Man Shigaraki, and it's just like, this man has range. Like, you can't knock the guy. Like, I feel like just making like a short video on my channel just being like, same voice actor. Now, you know.
Yeah. It'd be like one of those like actor breakdown videos that Unusual Suspect used to do.
Yeah, do you know
The
what?
one,
Sorry, go ahead.
the one thing every Death Battle that has had voice acting has done for me is that all the voice actings have been like top notch. Like, there's never like a subpar performance because all of them range from good to fantastic.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
also their dialogue as well, like, this is probably going to be a hot take. This death battle made Mahito and Shigaraki more intimidating villains than their official source material.
Ah, damn it, Liam.
Like,
I say that because he wrote the episode.
And he also voiced somebody.
Oh yeah, I immediately recognized it was him as well because I was like, that sounds like the Chosen Undead. I was like, I think I know who that is.
You know, I actually didn't recognize it was him.
Until someone said something in the server, yeah, that's how I knew.
That's Death Battle's Popeye, everyone.
Because, like, could you imagine that one scene, though, Bill? Instead of, like, One For All saying his line, could you imagine him just saying, prepare to die instead?
Yeah, or no, he does the freaking...
would have fit.
I mean, no, he does the Popeye voice. I can't have people backmouth my masterpiece.
That's
Ends
all I
off me
can
spin-
stand, because I can't stand no more.
Do you know what? I
Ends
feel,
off me spinach masterpiece.
you know what? I'm gonna, before I edit this video, I'm just gonna edit that video at some point of all above all just saying like the Popeye line instead, similar to when I did the Guts versus Dimitri edit. But anyway, there's a lot to talk about this episode because again, the fight itself, like, because while the analysis was just okay, this fight just has so much going for it. Like, for instance, like this was said by MORØ before this episode came out. There was only one 3D model used in this fight. If I was to point it out to you, I can't, because
I think I have a good guess.
Yeah, because
I wanna say it's like. Actually, hang on. Let me go back through this just to make sure.
yeah. Well, to be honest,
because he was asked like how long it took him to draw all the hands, because a lot of people were speculating about domain expansion being in it, and he was saying that he didn't draw a single hand. He used 3D.
okay, so it's the hands that were 3D. To be honest, though,
Oh, I would have been wrong then.
yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't even think that in the first place, because I was thinking it was like Nomu when he was summoned, or both of them were summoned. Which has that happened in My Hero Academia? There's 2 Nomus. I always thought it was just 1.
There's a ton of them.
Really? It's been a while since I've
Yep.
watched My Hero Academia, so I probably missed it. But, like, first of all, the opening of the fight is just golden. Like, you know, Shigaraki says, like, here is your audition, and the Nomus appear. And I'm a sucker for really well animated fights. Like, and some that are just completely pointless that you wouldn't think about. Shigaraki just slightly tilting his head to allow a Nomu to just fly past him. And then you see the Nomu in the background run around the pillar, making you realise, oh, that's like, that pillar is like a separate frame from that. But they had to animate so it looks like Shigaraki, who had to be like like, you know like how frames where like you put things above one another in animation? Like, they had to do it so it looks like Nomu's being thrown past Shigaraki, but still looking like the arm is about to brush his head. But then have Nomu run behind him and the pillar. Like, I'm a sucker for really dedicated animation like that, because that is a time-consuming thing to do. And also, they captured Mahito's like carefree sort of style in this fight, whereas Shigaraki is more so like, you know, I wouldn't say fully focused, but he definitely has that more seriousness in a fight. And they captured that perfectly with these two.
I think MORØ was saying like after Bowser Eggman, like he was handed options, and he said he picked the next fight he was going to do because he knew the characters well, and it freaking shows. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Like, also Mahito just making fun of like Shigaraki using like the most cliche villain catchphrase like game. I was like, did you actually say that? Oh, how lame!
Well, it wasn't like a villain catchphrase, it was gamer lingo.
It was just great. Also, they recreated that kiss thing he tried to do, and Shigaraki punched him in the face.
That was one of the funniest things of this fight.
But another thing I realized when I was going back to watch this for the episode, like when when Mahito kicks Shigaraki onto the train tracks, they could have easily just not bothered with this, but you actually see Mahito standing in the same spot he kicked him from in the frame, when they could have just easily just had Shigaraki just hit the wall there. Again, like a little detail that you wouldn't really focus on, but when it is there, it's like, you know what? MORØ, he likes attention to detail. And yeah, this fight was very brutal on both parts, because yeah, despite the fact both of these characters are near indestructible, I like the fact they were showing both like being brutalized in some ways, like Shigaraki losing one of his arms on the train. You see one of the clones of Mahito getting decayed, and again, the detail they put into how the decay worked on Mahito was great. Like, they could just easily just grade him out and he just poofed into dust, but they show like the cracks forming on him. It's like, again, they cooked with this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes from this is probably just like the moment the domain expansion starts. Also, the way just that phrase is delivered.
Yeah, it is so good. Like, again, they somehow made Mahito more menacing in this than, in my opinion, how they handled him in Jujutsu Kaisen. Also, this is the second death battle by MORØ where he snuck in the Black Flash.
Also, the moment after the One for All bit and Shigaraki like decays the domain.
Wait, do you think that he put that in Bowser vs. Eggman on purpose to tease this one?
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But you know, that was actually something I never thought about until someone brought up in the comments of the last discussion. But I never thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, couldn't Decay actually destroy the domain expansion? Because it's happened before where domain expansion's been destroyed. So I was like, yeah, I guess that, and that's the part that kind of convinced me, like, oh yeah, maybe if you take out Mahito's ultimate attack, then it's like, oh yeah, Mahito's just kind of screwed then, because that's like, well, his ultimate move.
The moment after that, when Shigaraki's all like, I felt your soul too. Like, at that point, you're just like, oh shit, yeah, Mahito, you're fucked.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, going back to the domain expansion part, the way the song kicks in as soon as that's delivered is just really well done as well.
Oh, the music
yeah.
is top tier. It's in Japanese as well, because at first I thought I was struggling to hear it.
That was a neat touch.
But it turns out, no, it's all in Japanese. I haven't looked up the lyrics for it, but even regardless, though, like, the lyrics could be talking about doing grocery shopping, but it still sounded epic.
The song title is called Skin Deep, and this is Brandon and Werewolf doing a collab track.
Yeah, like, the music's great, and yeah, like, the domain expansion, when Mahito's doing that psychotic laughter, man, like, Jesus, I feel like you put the Joker to shame with that laugh.
Yeah.
And just
like, Mahito was giving me some Joker vibes, just in terms of the way he just, like he just thrives in the chaos and just has fun.
I was about to say, it's either, you can either compare him to, like, Joker or Carnage in a sense.
I guess he's kind of like both, just not as interesting.
He's got, like, power-like abilities like Carnage, but the dialogue banter of Joker.
Yeah. The moment, though, like, he enters Shigaraki's mind, and just, like, what... how's his name again? Is it All for One or One Above, Below All? I always mix it
All
up.
for One.
Yeah. Him just freaking vibing on a throne and just says, hands off my masterpiece. I'm like, I wish I could emit that sort of aura in a room.
The fact that they decided to do, like, hey, what would be cool? Let's just pull a Sukuna throne scene. Why not?
And just Mahito's like, wait, what? Like, not realizing, like, where he is like... I like it when villains kind of are in that situation where they're so overconfident that as soon as, like, that illusion's destroyed, they're like, oh, I'm f***ed. And I always have to say, the death as well is also pretty dang brutal. Like, Mahito running away as you see him slowly decay. You see the desperation as he's trying to say, yeah, it's not bloody, but it is pretty savage. Like, him trying to, like, you never see a character trying to run for their life in, like, a death battle before they die, at least as far as I can remember. Also, just for the record, guys, when he turns it, I still love the freak of it. He spawns a tiny head and arm to run away. Pause as soon as the hand gets him, and the face he makes is hilarious.
I'm looking at it right now.
Hey, my thing's having trouble loading.
Right, when you see it,
I'll try and catch this.
I'll put it on screen for people to see. It's I love it. I saw that after I was rewatching it and slowing it down to look at little things, and I love that face so much.
I'm going at this 0.25.
Yeah, it's literally as the big hand grabs his head. It is gold, and I love it.
Up goes the head.
Let's wait for mate's reaction, and we'll continue.
See, like, the big bug I feel when I slow it down. Like, that's great.
the buck teeth.
Oh, God.
It's great. Someone get their profile pictures. If you get your profile picture on Discord or YouTube with that face, you can be a guest in whatever death battle you choose for the next Lads Discuss.
Oh, a detail I just caught.
Yeah.
When Shigaraki's pulling in Mahito's head, like, you can see his body, like, getting, like, disintegrated and all bloody in the background.
Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? And hey, you know, I guess you could say this is like Omni-Man versus Homelander. You know, the character gets humbled and their heads are being crushed, and then they get a brutalized bitchy whine as they die.
Yeah.
Shigaraki
And-
did the PG-13 version of the Homelander death.
Yeah, with "You grow up."
Yeah, again, they made these characters sound more epic than they did in their official material. Like, just that whole, like, you know, the whole grow up, which I know people try and joke like that's such a child thing to say, but when you think about it in context, Mahito was mocking him, how like, oh, you're just a scared little child. But then Shigaraki kind of humbles Mahito, saying like, you only hate humanity because you were born that way. I hate them for a reason. You grow up. It's like, you know what? That is actually, not only is it a good comeback, it also makes sense because, yeah, Mahito only hates humanities because...
He was made to.
Yeah. Which is a lame villain motivation, I will say. Like, but of course, he's just one of those people that just enjoys carnage.
Yeah.
Now, the slight controversy regarding the reasoning behind this. People talk about how could you compare Jujutsu Kaisen? Because now, when they explain their reason behind this in the 3 categories, which I feel as though they could have added a few more to that, but given the time that this episode probably took, I can understand why they mostly wanted to focus on 3.
You know, I said they do less and less with those now.
Yeah,
But
so...
to be fair, like, some of the categories only need to be a certain few.
That's true.
Again, like, combining all the physical stats, because, like, Aiden and I talked about it in the prediction. Yeah, Shigaraki kind of annihilated Mahito in that aspect.
Yeah, and I kind of
They
agree...
need to...
No, go ahead.
They didn't need to break it down, like, individually, so combining, like, speed, strength into, like, one category, that's fine.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, one of the things I did agree was that I could definitely... Because I originally thought Mahito was faster when you scale him to the other characters, but it turns out no, because really most of his fights just had him, like, taunting and fighting in the background, or just using, like, his morphing ability, which is like, yeah, I suppose that's not really a valid, like, scale. That's kind of like saying with Spider-Man occasionally getting a hit on 4, it's like saying they're matched in strength, which is like, not really. It's just that Spider-Man has just the agile ability. But my main thing I was kind of wondering is, can Shigaraki even kill Mahito? And the reasoning behind it was going into the fact, well, we've seen Shigaraki hurt spiritual characters in the past, and I was like, okay, that actually does make sense. Curse is a spirit, so theoretically, that...
Yeah, I mean, it is a fragment of a person's soul.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, you know what, I can see that. But this had a few people in the comments, not a lot, but there were some people that were bringing up like, well, how could you compare Jujutsu Kaisen spirits to My Hero Academia? They're completely different. I will kind of agree, yes, they are different from like a media standpoint. But when you really think about it, none of the creators of these shows or mangas have ever specified what makes them different from one another. Like, for instance, why is Mahito's spirit any different from Casper's spirit? They're both technically spiritual creatures, so...
This also shows that they did
It's like,
this black box that was put in that makes a lot of sense why Shigaraki wins anyway. Even if Shigaraki could not target spiritual matter, Anonymous states that a curse like Mahito would die after expending all their cursed energy.
Yeah, which I didn't even know about that. I must have been saying
so,
in
like-
manga that I must not pay attention, or maybe even in the anime.
Yeah, so Shigaraki would just win the war of attrition anyway.
Yeah, like, I was going into this thinking Mahito wins, but then it was like, oh, Shigaraki can spirit, Mahito could just eventually just drain all his power, which happened in the anime. Like, he used up all his ability, and then he tried to run for the hills, which didn't work. Now, there is...
Which, by the way, one, love they brought that in, and I love that MORØ posted a green screen of that as well.
I need to see if someone's made a funny meme of the day for that to add for this video. If there is one, at the start,
someone
then-
did like the moment Eggman and his forces like drop into the ground, and he goes, "Get a load of this." It just cuts to Mahito like literally running over a hill.
Okay, I need to find that just because that needs to be the opening for this episode because it's so fitting for this topic. But to be honest though, it seems as though even people who disagree with this episode are just happy to see Mahito lose. But I'm just thinking, when you look at the stats and stuff like that, just the physical stats, yeah, it does make sense that, you know, Shigaraki just outclassed him in stats, which I agreed with to an extent. I just wondering, could Shigaraki can even kill him? Because eventually Shigaraki would just exhaust himself. But it was like the opposite. It turns out, no, Mahito would just end up doing that. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough. Because
it also is just like we were talking about, like, it's a better explanation than just saying that, like, Shigaraki was able to survive 45 days compared to when Mahito just expends his energy anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I do also agree, like, yeah, Mahito has the better regenerative ability, but, you know, just being better at regenerating doesn't automatically mean you win.
Looking at you, Wolverine.
So, I thought that reason made a lot of sense. Like, as far as I know, Jujutsu... Like, you know, as far as I know, Jujutsu Kaisen's still going on in the manga, so who knows, Mahito could come back, because maybe he could just say no you to having his soul destroyed, but until something like that happens, though, it seems as though there's still ways Shigaraki could beat him. Now, but the thing I will kind of say, that I don't think this fight is as much of a stomp as people say it is. Like, yeah, I can see Shigaraki winning more, but I don't think Mahito would, you know, die in one hit of a fight.
It's basically like, okay, we've got a guy who's like stronger and faster and whatnot, but how does he kill the other guy?
It's like the opposite of Ghost Rider versus Spawn.
Yeah. And, you know, just because, you know, because my whole thing was that, oh, well, there's no, like, magic or spiritual, like, characters in My Hero Academia, so would Decay even work on him? Death Hour was just like, well, actually, yes. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Well played. And they even brought up the other facts as well, which I never even considered. Yeah, even characters without spiritual powers have been able to land a hit on Mahito. So it's like, okay, yeah, if these people without these Jujutsu Kaisen abilities can hit this guy, then who's to say Shigaraki couldn't?
I only feel a little bit bad for Bill because he was on such a roll, like, the past 4 episodes.
I mean, there's going to be some death battles I'll get wrong because, you know, I'm not...
No, but you were on a really impressive winning streak, though.
I mean, I never really care about if I'm on a streak or not. Like, a lot of the time, I am happy to be wrong about an episode, so it just surprises me. I'm like, oh, they can do this. Like, as well as it, like...
Yeah, you're not one of those that brags about, like, how big of a winning streak they have.
No, because, one, I can't stand people. And they're like, hey, well done, you managed to guess how many death battles you got right. Woo, here's a cookie. It's half eaten. Because...
Also, it's oatmeal and raisins, so it's disgusting.
Hot take, I actually think that sounds delicious. But to be honest, though, it's one of those cases where it's like, I was, you know, for an episode I just had no investment in. The fact I managed to invest in me is a win in itself. But mostly, you know, the fight itself. Like, I've gone back to rewatch the fight a lot of times. Analysis-wise, not so much. But overall, I would say the episodes are a solid... I'd say it was a solid 7 out of 10. The fight definitely carried the episode for me. Do you guys have any final says before we move on to the second topic? Which is definitely something I'm definitely excited to talk about.
I'm excited for whatever episode MORØ does next.
That's fair. But yeah, I kind of agree with Bill. Like, the fight and the editing is the hard carry for this episode.
Yeah. Overall, it's a solid episode. It's not as good as the previous ones, in my opinion, but given the views for the fight itself, it's like, yeah, I think this episode is... it's not a filler episode.
Nah.
Yeah. But speaking of episodes, I don't know how to really segue into this, so
Bill, it's time to rip that old script that you have and tear into a fresh improvised one.
You started a bit, but you know what? We'll allow that.